So when it comes to being a master of project management, there are certain traits that are expected of you. And one of them is strategic thinking. Let me expand on that. Remember, I spoke about portfolios, programs, and then projects. So if you now need to master project management, you need to know all those three levels. In most cases, organizations and business, they run a project with a purpose. And one of the purposes is to get some value from that project. It might be something tangible, or it could be something that is not tangible. But at the end of the day, it's a value. So you must be strategically thinking when it comes to mastering project management. For example, you have just joined an organization and you have been requested to run with a certain project. As a strategic thinker, one of the questions you should be asking yourself is, how is it aligned to business goals? How is it aligned to business objectives? Those questions are very, very important. It separates you from an ordinary project manager who just take the mandate, they just go through the requirements, they start planning, then they start implementing, they go through, they create a charter, and then they move like that. But if you are a master of project management, you need to understand why that project is being done. It's very, very important. You cannot just jump into a project and then you start executing. You need to understand why are you doing that project. So one of them is also strategic thinking. Then the other trait is also anticipation. So anticipation is basically linked to risk management. Risk management is very important in a project because you are anticipating certain events to happen which can affect the project positively or even negatively. If you want to understand more about risk management in a project environment, I've created a video on risk management. You can also check it on my channel. I'll also leave a link in the description below. So anticipation is going to the future and then coming back. You might say, Oscar, you're confusing me on that. No. So you are saying, if this event is going to happen, how is it going to impact the project? So a risk is an event, a future event that may or may not occur. But if it occurs, it graduates to become an issue. It cannot be a risk and an issue at the same time. I've seen so many project managers making that mistake. A risk and an issue, they are totally different. An issue is a risk that has materialized. Okay, so if you are now mastering project management, anticipation is very important. You ask so many questions. If we don't do this, what is going to happen? Okay, say for example, it's construction. If we don't provide weather-proof activities, what is going to happen to our construction project? If, for example, it's an ICT project, if we don't train our people, what is going to happen? So this now shows that you are now mastering the project management process. Then you also have another trait of executive communication. From my experience, executive communication, you cannot avoid it, starting with your sponsor. Okay, a sponsor is just like the owner or someone who is responsible for the success and also for the funding of the project. If you want to understand more about project sponsor or project executive, I've created a video on project executive. You can also watch it on my channel. I'll also leave a link in the description. Executive communication with your sponsor, executive communication with senior management in the organization. There are cases, in my experience, I was being called by senior management to come and explain the project status, especially when you miss the deadlines. So your communication at that level is different from when you're communicating with your team members. Those guys, they don't want to hear things like, we have been having interviews, we have been brainstorming, one of our members has left the project. They're not interested in that. They want to understand the overall status of the project. Are you on track? Are you off track? Is it red, green, or is amber? Okay? That is the kind of communication they want. Are you going to make it? Okay? In terms of budget, how much do you still have? How much do you still need? At the end of the project, how much do you think you are going to spend? What kind of effort are you going to put for you to make sure that you deliver the project on budget? And this is where what is called the end value management process comes, which is a set of formulas of trying to appreciate the performance of a project. So that is also very important. Then you also need to be able to influence others without authority if you're mastering project management. I can tell you project management is all about managing people. So if you are managing people, then you should be able to influence the people. You don't need to have a very big title or authority to do that. It's just what we call interpersonal or team skills. You should be able to talk to people. You should be able to influence people to work even over weekends, which is not normally recommended, but if you're behind schedule, you have to do that. Work. Say, for example, there's something what is called to complete performance index, TCPI. This is just a measure of how much effort you're supposed to put in your project for you to deliver on time and also on budget. It's an index. It has got a numeric value. If it's less than 1, it means you don't need to put more than what you're putting at the moment, because it's expected you're putting 100%. If it's more than 1, say for example 0.2, it means you have to put 20% more effort towards that. So this is where now the influence of others come into play. Your team is putting 100%, but you're behind schedule, as an example. So you want to influence your team to put 20% more into their effort for you to deliver the project within the budget. So that is also very, very important to consider. You should be able to do that. Then one of the traits also of a master of project management is also to be able to have adaptive methodology. What do we mean by adaptive methodology? Projects, they exist in an environment where you can decide the approach. It could be agile approach, it could be traditional approach, or probably it could be the waterfall. Traditional and waterfall, predictive is the same. So you have gone through the theory, you have gone through the practice. Don't be rigid as a project manager if you want to master this. There are certain cases where you see it's best to apply only agile methodology. I've gone through that process before. There are also some processes where the waterfall predictive is very important. For example, when you're doing construction, it's not very easy to say we're going to apply incremental agile. You need to know upfront how many floors are you going to have for that building, so that the foundation is actually designed and constructed to support that. You cannot say, now you're constructing 3rd floor, then you decide, oh, now we need to put 10 more. The foundation might not sustain that. So you need to decide as a project manager which methodology is best. The third methodology, the third methodology that you might also apply is what is called hybrid, which means you have both agile and predictive running at the same time. But there's a variation to that. You might start with agile and then you go to predictive, or you start with predictive, then agile, or even back to predictive. So if you are now a master of project managers or project management, adaptive methodology is very important. You adapt to the environment. You tailor your knowledge, you tailor your methodology to the environment. It's not a matter of saying, because when I was certifying myself, the PM book, they said this, Prince 2, they said this. No. You assess the environment, look at what is applicable and what is not applicable. That is also very, very important. Then when you're mastering project management, I can tell you project management is an aggregation of so many disciplines. You have finance part of it, you have the technology part of it. Sometimes I've seen even legal and even audit guys being involved, the risk guys, change managers, the training. So one of the traits that is also expected from you is business acumen. What do we mean by this? When you are talking as a project manager, if someone in a meeting, okay, where you are presenting your project status, is going to ask you, how are we doing in terms of a return on investment, ROI? You see, return on investment, it's a financial term that is normally used, or business term that is used to see how much you're going to gain from the investment in that project. You should be able to answer those questions, okay? Someone is going to ask you in terms of what is the power and influence of the stakeholders. Okay, stakeholders, they have power and influence in every environment, whether it's project or non-project. So your business acumen should now become very, 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 very important, okay? There are so many terms that you're going to be using, either to guide senior management or to guide your project members, okay? So it's very important that you also improve on your business acumen. If someone is going to say, Oscar, according to the project, How are we doing in terms of the benefit realization? Okay, benefit realization can even apply to projects or non-projects, but you should be able to know those terms. Then one of the items or one of the traits that is expected is also innovation. When you've mastered the project management, you find ways to exist, you find ways to work. Like what I do in my projects, I always make sure that there is a way that I do my things with my team that makes it very easy. For example, if I'm running a project, one of the items I make sure is in place is a project structure. Project structure is very, very important. If you want to understand more about project structure, I've created a video on how to structure a project. It will be very, very helpful for you to understand it. So project structure is one of the items which I normally do, where I have the project manager, project board, project manager, like this, and also the project team leads, and then the project team members. So your innovation becomes very, very important. You find ways to make things work. You can even develop some tools. I also leave a link on one of the project management information system tools that I've created that also helps me to run my project. So your innovation, your creativity becomes even higher because you've mastered what is project management. Then the other trait is on the project management intelligences that you have to manage. You might be asking, Oscar, what are you talking about here? So there are so many, from my own assessment, there are about 7 main project management intelligences that you should be able to apply when you start mastering project management. If you want to understand more about these intelligence that you should build as a project manager, I've also created a video on how to manage some of these intelligence in a project. So one of them is emotional intelligence. What do we mean by this? When you are now mastering project management, you need to be able to manage how you talk, how you speak, how others feel. And this is where probably a video conferencing calls or even in physical meetings, they become very helpful. You know what you say, and your body language can also influence the response that you get from the other party. There's also what is called cultural intelligence, just getting to understand that people are also different in the way they think. In this day and age, most of the projects, it's multinational, multi-geographical. What it means is you have people coming from different cultures, different environments, different countries altogether. So the way they do things might be totally different from what you expect. So this is where we talk about culture or cultural intelligence that you have to build. The other one is also institutional intelligence. You need to be intelligent in terms of the institution, understand how your institution actually works. It's very, very important that you have that kind of technical knowledge. I'm not going to go through all the 7 types, but what I'm trying to demonstrate here is when you become a master in project management, these are some of the traits that you should always attain or you should always push to have. If you want me to create additional videos based on what we have discussed in this video, or maybe there's a concept or idea that is not clear to you and you need more information about it, you can reach out to me or you can let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.